Hello and welcome back to this, the final session of what I hope you'll agree, has been a really interesting and really insightful day. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Hashtag the whole teacher. I mean, I've seen so many interesting discussions and responses on social media, and lots of different chats and so forth and questions today have really been encouraging. That I think this is something that's very important to all of us. How we support the personal and the professional development of all important teachers and leaders and so forth. This is going to be about 15-20 minutes, no more than that, and then we can all have another cup of tea or something stronger. So this is about Pathway Uncovered, and so in this final session I'm going to share with you some of the content which you haven't seen yet, and actually we're going to have a quick sneaky peek at some of the screenshots of the actual platform itself, which is being built as we speak in our development offices and laboratories in the US, and I'm really excited when that will land properly in September for schools to use in back to school. So as you'll know, because you've heard us talk about it, lead author and series editor, yes. So I have the good fortune of being the Senior Director of Learning at Discovery Education. I had 21 years in schools, head teacher and teacher before that, and I joined Discovery in September to lead on professional development. And rather than roll out more CPD, I was very keen to do something different, which is talk about the whole teacher and the personal development too. And that's how we've ended up to where we are now. Working with the NHT has been an absolute joy, because they completely appreciate that it isn't just about professional skills and professional development, it's about the whole person too. So it's been a tremendous partnership with them, and I'm sure it will continue to be so. So we're very grateful to them, because they recognise, as we do, that personal development is as important as professional development, and when you combine the two, as I've said repeatedly today, you can access that empowerment which was so important for you when you first entered the profession and can all too easily be lost. I'm talking about, of course, your sense of agency in the role, and you've heard that many times today. So how do we actually do that? Well, I will show you the primary aim that we kind of set ourselves at the beginning of this project back in last year, back in August, September time, just as I landed. I set ourselves a primary aim of to help teachers and school leaders develop professionally and personally in their careers with confidence, empowerment and positive well-being. Well, how do we do that? Well, we've set ourselves 3 strategic objectives. You can tell I'm sort of used to running schools and school development plans and so forth. You need primary aims and strategic objectives. And these were the 3 that we set ourselves: help teachers and leaders achieve orientation in terms of their motivations, ambitions, professional skills and areas of development, provide a navigation system so that they can get there through high quality films and thought pieces and coaching questions, and then that all important, often ignored and neglected reflection piece, which is support the health and well-being of teachers and leaders throughout their careers, encouraging self-efficacy and empowerment through reflection. Well, those 3 words stood out to me as 3 corners, 3 elements of the new program as we now have: orientation, navigation and reflection. And that's how we built the program for you. So here it comes. So you'll see those 3 stages. You've seen earlier on today, if you were with us, that this is an online integrated program targeted specifically at supporting teacher well-being and career progression. Comprises a virtuous cycle, and it really is a continuation. It's a constant revolving wheel, if you like, of going through orientation, navigation, reflection and so forth. It's a virtuous cycle. And that's how we ended up with the 3 bubbles, as I call them. Waiting for that to come up. Which is to do with those 3, there we are, those 3 stages. It's motivation planning, as you know, as I've mentioned today. It's skills auditing, and it's career mapping. It's planning those professional goals, health and well-being goals, and those wider interests and motivations that you have through your career, and the navigation piece. And obviously we're looking at doing some accreditation further down the track. We hope to have some, already been having some discussions with some universities. We're looking at the MPQs as well very closely to see if we can align our content with those, so that you can double bubble, as it were, the efforts that you're making on these programs. You work through it in your own time and space, and you return to these reflections and responses throughout the year and throughout your career, as the new content is constantly being added to it. And the reflection piece obviously is about the wellbeing program, the advice hub, as I've mentioned earlier today, and that all-important professional learning portfolio, which leads to a dashboard about you, showing the levels of investment in yourself. Here we are. So this is the first of those 3 elements in motivation. They will not be presented to you as PDFs in September. This is a short way of being able to give people a sneaky peek. We'll be putting some of this content onto the Pathway landing site, which you can see at the bottom of the screen, free to access landing site, just to profile some of the content. But of course, in the real platform in September, this won't be a PDF. This is appearing on screen, fully interactive, where you can watch and engage with the films, share some responses and join in some discussions on the back of those films, and actually write your all-important responses to those coaching questions for reflection. So for now, you're seeing them in PDF form, but we also have the skills audits, which again will be highly interactive, self-assessment tools where you can slide across your scores if you like. It's the only scores you're going to see in this program because they're scores that you can give to yourself. They're self-assessments on the teacher standards, on your teaching competencies and skills, and your leadership skills, your potential leadership skills if you're aspiring to leadership, or you're practicing leadership skills right now if you're in leadership. And those can be constantly revisited at your leisure as frequently as you like. And in doing so, we hope that you'll orientate yourself and identify some of those areas which motivate you and some of those areas that need perhaps a little bit more help and support and inspiration. And in doing that, you'll get a better picture of yourself in your career, I hope, than perhaps you currently have, because there isn't a tool like this around at the moment. It's just those CPDs, isn't it? So we hope that we can build much more of a holistic program around those CPDs. And the career planning document, again, won't look like this on the new platform, but it's an interactive planner where you can chart your professional goals, your health and well-being goals, and your wider interest, extracurriculum sort of goals as you move ahead, and keep coming back and tick them off and write them when you've achieved them. And I think that's good for your well-being and your motivation to show just how far you've come, because it's so easy to forget it. And then finally, we then move to the navigation. So you'll see, again, some content here from the CPE modules. It's going to be very difficult to read that. It's just small. I'm actually going to be sharing a little bit of content from the real platform in a moment for these online CPE courses. 20-odd courses to begin with more courses coming down the track and more modules within those courses. We'll be adding content as we go, but there's a significant number of hours on there now. Every course is several hours worth of viewing, of reading, and of writing your own responses. But you can keep coming back to them. Personally, I'd probably recommend an evening during the week and a Sunday morning, and I reckon you'll have completed a course. But you can keep coming back to them in your own time, and that's the beauty of these courses, I think, really. They are as long or as short as you like, but the quality of them comes not only from the high quality content in the films, but your level of investment in it and the responses that you write, and the honesty, if you like, with which you write your responses, because they're just for you. You can choose to share some little comments if you wish, or you can just archive them for yourself as a diary, as a professional journal. Again, obviously you won't be able to see the text, but we have certainly 20 modules to begin with, 20 courses, and each of those courses are written by expert practitioners in their field. We have multi-academy trust CEOs and head teachers, we have practicing head teachers, teachers, former head teachers, professors of education and lecturers, authors, goodness knows how many people, and they share something in common very much, is that they're all authentic. Utterly authentic people who may have written books and so forth and articles because they're experts in their field, but they're not here to promote those books. They're here to help you and all of us stay empowered in this profession. And the modules that they've created within each of those courses are highly engaging and very honest and authentic, sharing with you some wisdom, which is what I shall do on Monday, some practical wisdom to help you stay empowered when you go back into work tomorrow. So I'm really excited, and I think they're very enjoyable to watch as well, and very insightful to read. So many different titles there. To name just a few: Resilience in Early Teaching, Professional Resilience and Reflection, The Power of Language, Stepping Up to Leadership, Efficient Time Management. That's where I'm going first. That'll be the first course I run, I think, or I go through. Efficient Time Management and Self-Organisation Skills. After Outstanding, What Next? That's a very interesting author, an experienced head teacher running an outstanding school, turning a school that required significant improvement into an outstanding school. But what next? what next? And that's a very interesting idea, actually. How do you keep your staff motivated once you've turned them from change-averse into change junkies, as this person would call them? How do we keep them on track? So that's a very interesting angle. The Agile Teacher from Hal Roberts, how we can actually affect and adjust our stance in order to meet the individual needs of the children, and keep them motivated. Closing the attainment gap, really important, increasingly so now, by Multi-Academy Trust CEO Daniel Jones, and an authority, national authority on attainment gap and pupil premium. We have building partnerships with parents, impactful behaviour management strategies, mastery teaching, creating a professional learning culture, and many, many more that I've left out. And they are all very interesting courses to follow. Very different to traipsing up the motorway to a hotel somewhere and having a day's CPD done at you and coming back to a day of marking. Very different experience and a very different approach. So those are just one element. And as you see on the screen there, you can see the different activities within each course. Roundtable films, roundtable discussions, one-to-one discussions, interviews, and then you can see the other reading activities around those. And they're really highly engaging. We're filming them in a whole range of different places, including schools, but also in the studios up here and also around various other parts of the country. We're waiting patiently for those lockdown rules to ease, where we're able to travel safely and legally in order to perform this, which we will be doing soon. We've made a couple of courses at the films just before the lockdown in March, and we've been waiting very patiently to resume again this month and of course in July. So we're really looking forward to that. And we'll share some of the content as soon as we have it. Online community is very important to us, just as it's important to connect with your colleagues in the breakaway sessions in a face-to-face conference. So we want to simulate that, and you'll see when I show you some of the actual real slides from the real platform, plenty of opportunities to share comments and responses and even likes and replies to other people who are sharing their comments about those courses that I've just listed. And then in order to keep the online community going, we're also going to be offering webinars. We're already doing several in the next few weeks, actually. Look out for those with some of our Pathway authors and leaders and teachers, but also some regular podcasts as well to discuss what's on our minds collectively as we hashtag the whole teacher. What's on our minds at the moment, and how can we make things better both for us and the students, and how can we keep our well-being going? So that's a really important community piece. And then this all-important wellbeing program, which is about you and about your efficacy and your agency. You'll be encouraged to conduct some little case studies yourself within the school environment to become more cognizant of both your well-being and the well-being of your colleagues and students. And I think by the end of that long course, and there will be more modules added to it constantly, you will see, hopefully you'll feel very much more aware and knowledgeable about your own well-being and your own health and your own agency. So it's a terrific piece, and it runs through Pathway like a stick of rock. Also, you'll see there is the Advice Hub, which I've alluded to several times today, which is powered and written by our friends and partners at the NAHT. They are delivering this element of Pathway for us, which is really exciting and so reassuring from everybody who's using it, that you're getting the latest policies, the latest deadlines and dates and submission dates and so forth, useful contacts and links, and they're all important FAQs. We have Guy Dudley, who is obviously a senior leader at NAHT, who handles the whole of the Advice Hub, and his team at the NAHT helping us with this. So we're honoured and really thrilled to be having that level of advice being pumped through the Pathway program for you to access whenever you need it, which is great. So I'm delighted about that. And then finally, these are my own rather amateur attempts to kind of show you what the teacher dashboard will do. Obviously it will look very different to this. This is a PowerPoint, but you will get a sense of the features and functions of this dashboard. Never before have I ever had the opportunity to see a dashboard about me, rather than about just the attainment progress of my students in English and Maths progressing towards floor standards and national expectations and progress scores, all of which is important. But you're never going to get there, the students are not going to get there until you look after yourself. So I think this is really revealing and insightful, and sheds some light on the hidden performance that you deliver in the classroom every day. So I'm delighted by that. I'm actually now going to jump across and share with you just a few slides, hot off the press as it were, from our colleagues in the US, in Discovery Education over there, who've been creating some of these actual screenshots to show you the platform itself, and I'm really pleased to be sharing those with you now. This first one is clearly just a quick landing page, the empowerment tool for teachers and leaders. So you can see where you click to get started. Remember, I'm only showing you just a few little glimpses and so forth. As we have more screenshots to be showing you, we'll place those on the Pathway landing page, which you've seen throughout the day, which I'll give again at the end, where you can register your interest and stay in touch. And we can keep in touch with you and give you more and more glimpses of this product as it's ready. September being the launch time. So we then actually move to, this is another page where you'll go to see the virtuous cycle of constant empowerment, where you have the orientation, the navigation and the reflection sections, nice and easy, very intuitive. This is where the 3 core elements, it's where the doors are, if you like. And it's to show you that the virtuous cycle is repeated annually. You can keep going back in and out of all of those different sections to contribute to all the different self-assessments and responses in each of those 3, because there are places for you to write your individual responses in all of those 3 elements. This is not a masterclass delivered at you. Everybody's own Pathway profile will look substantially different, but there will be some common threads, and you know that because hopefully you'll be contributing to the discussions within Pathway, and that's sometimes very reassuring and quite cathartic to know that other people are having the same thoughts and the same worries and the same celebrations and the same successes as you. So I'm actually going to jump straight into navigation now, the middle one, to show you what you'll see when you go through that route. In Pathway, our navigation section offers you a suite of highly engaging online courses, each one designed to empower and motivate you. And I can't wait to be able to show you all those different courses, but unfortunately we don't have those yet, and you need to subscribe to access all of those. But we can give you a quick sneaky peek now. And then here we are. We don't believe that CPD should be done at you. We think it should be an enjoyable and empowering experience that develops self-efficacy through constant reflection in your own time. Remember, whether that's a weeknight, it might be a Sunday morning, it might be during the holidays, but you've got plenty of time to take this at your own pace when you're ready. Our lively discussions, interviews and thought leadership articles delivered by experienced practitioners invite you to reflect on your own practice and stay in control. So this is just a quick preview of one of those modules. Let me just very quickly throttle back. Yeah, so this one is actually taken from The Power of Culture. It's a course overview of this particular module on the power of culture in school to shape the attitudes, behaviours and competencies, the real ABC as I've always called it. We know, don't we, that through the recent changes to the Ofsted framework, school leaders and teachers will need to be, rightly I'm sure, we all agree, need to be reporting meaningfully on the attitudes and behaviours of their children, their personal development, their cultural capital, in ways that they never had to in the past. In order to do that, and in order to model those positive attitudes and behaviours, because you can't necessarily teach them, you model them, that requires the person in the front of the class to be in a really good place themselves, to have a positive mindset. Well, this is a great way of actually connecting with that. And in this particular course, we say that it's the culture of school that can help to pull some of those levers, the norms and customs and values, which kind of help to shape the attitudes and behaviours and positive mindsets of the school. It's a really intriguing course, and this is just a quick introduction to it. You can see nice, easy navigation down the left-hand side, where you go through the various different modules, right the way through to the conclusion, and you can keep coming back at any time. I've mentioned the word films all the way through this because I'm really excited about it. It's discovery education after all. You would be expecting this not to be delivered through PowerPoint slides, perhaps as some of today has had to be, but obviously the actual course itself is delivered through film. Really interesting round table discussions with a whole range of different teachers and colleagues and head teachers, and also filmed in various different locations to make you think and to help you feel empowered, and I hope to even to entertain too. Why not? To enjoy these experiences when you get home from teaching and you have a glass of wine. And then you can actually respond to some of those films in the little discussion forums underneath each one. There are thought pieces throughout each course as well. Every course has lots of modules in it, and the modules have thought pieces written by these thought leaders, these authors, these expert practitioners, with various different academic references and bibliographies and hyperlinks to wider reading. So actually you're accessing a huge library of educational titles and recommended reading pieces through these different modules. That's the beauty of online learning. You can follow the hyperlinks and find some other bits of wider reading to kind of help speak to you and keep you interested. These are some spaces where you can write the reflections, your own responses to the questions that you're asked. We're going to put some slides like this onto the free Pathway landing site soon so that you can actually have a look at this. I recognise that this will be a little bit pixelated for some, but this is a great place to see where you have the space to write what you think, because you can't get this right or wrong. It's about what you think and how you feel about the issues that you're reading and watching. So that's the beauty of the reflection piece, and it's a professional learning journal, if you like, that you can keep coming back to. This is one of those coaching questions. Do you think your character was influenced by the culture of your school when you were a child? You've got the opportunity to write private thoughts and responses here in your professional learning journal, but similarly you can share those with others. You can even like some, and you can reply. This is how obviously the online community around Pathway is going to develop, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how others view the culture of school, both their own school and the school that they're working in. And the same is true of the 20 courses that, and all the modules within those courses. I suppose there are 80 modules in total, 4 modules in each course, which means there are over 80 films across the whole piece, with lots of opportunities to reflect underneath each of those films. And then finally, I can only show you the first 2, but this is where the menu of 20 courses is, and you can very quickly scroll down, click on each of those titles to get a little bit more of a description about what that course is, what's involved in each of the modules, and whether you wish to proceed with that one or do it in any order you like. This isn't chronological. It's not unlocked when you've done the previous course. It depends what came out of your orientation exercise into what motivates you, what demotivates you. That might be worth a look, and also where your skills and areas for development lie. Once you've kind of got all of that, then you really know which courses you want to go to first. So that's the point of the Pathway modules. That draws our day to a close. So excited to have had you with us. Still a very significant number of people here online still today, even despite all the things that you're going to have to be doing and have been doing over the last few weeks. I can only imagine. I was in headship up until August last year. I can only imagine how it's been in the last few weeks. But we hope some clarity will come soon, and we hope during this hiatus, although for many it has not been a hiatus, it has been anything but during this period, we hope, as Ruth was saying, that there will be a reset, a restart, and when we return to schools, whenever, many of you are in schools right now, but when we kind of return to a new normal, whatever that may be, that we set the dial and we recognise that our own personal development is just as important to our professional development if we want to get the most out of this career and get as much out of it as we put in every day. So thank you so much. Please visit the site if you wish to register your interest in the Pathway programme so that we can keep in touch with you. You don't have to buy it today. You have to register your interest if you like, and we can stay in touch with you, and we can share with you more previews as the content lands before September. So I hope very much we're able to talk in soon. I hope very much I'm able to meet a lot of the people who are on this call at various different face-to-face conferences that are going to happen as soon as we're back to normal. Looking forward to that hugely, as we all are. But in the meantime, I hope this has been an insightful and interesting day for you. And I don't know about you, but it's time for another cup of tea. So thank you very much for joining, and I hope to see you again soon.